Ciao, I'm Enzo.
I'm Celia.
This is our channel where we show you how life is in Lucca.
And in the Tuscan hills.
I love cooking traditional food.
And we love exploring our beautiful part of the world.
So please subscribe and welcome
to Piazza Talk Lucca. There are three obvious ways to arrive in Bagni di Luca. One is, of course, by car, via the SS12, the Brennero, and one is by bus, also it goes along the SS12, and the other is by train. We have a train station. But the train station of Bagni di Luca, which has a wonderful sort of decadent air about it. So it has a slightly crestfallen look about it, but around the turn of the 20th century, when all the poets were coming and Bagni di Luca was the top resort in Europe, this is where, no doubt, people would arrive. And at either end, there is still the pumps for the steam trains that I hope will be restored one day. And there are marble benches. And when we first arrived, there was still a cafe. However, this delightful lady still guards the station, and it is a very good, useful connection. There are a couple of trains that even go directly to Pisa in the day, and otherwise it goes up into Gafagnana and down to Lucca. It's a single-track railway, but it's a very beautiful journey. You pass the Ponte della Maddalena, the Devil's Bridge, whichever form of transport you take. However, when you get here, there's a bit of a problem because you are quite a long way from the main town. So you really need to get a taxi, as not always buses meet the trains. So below we will leave a number of a taxi and a driving service for Bagni di Luca. The old water tower is still there with the measure that must have filled the pumps. But I'm no expert. We need some railway experts to explain how it all works. But it's rather wonderful. So if there are railway experts, please leave a comment and tell us how it works. Once a year, a steam train does come through here and goes into Gafagnana, and it's extraordinary. It looks wonderful, but the smell is awful, to be honest. It's always good to start off any day, for those who know me, a cup of coffee, set you up, and a cornetto. Why not? You're going to have a bit of walking. So we suggest that you get a bus or a taxi to Ponte Serraglio, which is the first bit of the main part of Bagni di Luca. Ponte Serraglio is a little village, and we'll take you to the pretty bits in a minute. But the walk from the station to here is actually quite long. It's probably 10, 15 minutes. And it's not a very nice walk. There isn't a pavement. So we do suggest that you take either a bus or a taxi, or else you're very careful when you walk.
As we said, we can start the day without a cup of coffee. And
Do they not talk anymore?
we've been coming to this bar for about 20 years. I mean, It's a lovely position here.
And it's very popular with tourists.
Yes. I also need more sugar in my coffee today because it is the moment I need more energy. Okay, and we got this beautiful cornetto with pistachio filling here.
Which they make here.
They make it, yes. They also, this bar, they have patisserie here. How is your cake?
It's very good. No. This is a day in Bagni di Luca, and it's a very general introduction. In other videos, we show you in more depth the beautiful villas, the extraordinary bridges, some of the nature, and the villages. But today we're just having a general look. So a little bit of history. Bagni di Luca literally means the baths of Luca, and it has 25 different waters. And it probably goes back to Etruscan times. We're actually on the limit of sort of Etruscan and Celtic lands. The Romans were here, and it was very important in medieval times. It became very popular in the 19th century when the Grand Tour came here, and it was discovered and created into a spa garden resort by Elisas Villa, who was Napoleon's sister and the ruler of the area. And she really created this elegant town and connected all the spa establishments with paths, some of which are being cleared up, and the spas are beginning to reopen. The main spa, unfortunately, was closed after COVID, but here in this part, in Ponte Serraglio, the Bernabò has reopened, and you can go there for a treatment, and we'll link in the description box the video about this bath that we did before. There are also the bridges, as I said, which you pass, and we have videos on some of them, and we'll be doing some more of them. I think we're starting in Ponte Serraglio because it's a very pretty little part, and it has the casino, and we will take you in the future inside the casino, which is the oldest casino in Europe. And this elegant building has been restored in recent years, and it was the centre of social life and soirees as well, and erudite conversation between the intellectuals who came here in the summer to escape the heat of the cities. So we have a lot of writers, from the Romantic poets, from Montaigne earlier, right down to Trollope, and also Liszt was here, and Puccini, indeed, when he was a young man, often played here and came here throughout his life. He was great friends with a family from this area who still, indeed, live in this area. This atmosphere of writers and artists is still alive within the community, and quite a lot of artists live in the hills and work in the hills around here. There are sculptors, artists, writers.
You know what, I think the battery light came out. I think maybe the power cut, if the electricity cut, so the engine will cut up, right?
Glamour somehow remains in the beautiful villas that exist in this valley. So let's take a look around this little bit of Bagni di Luca to start with. So first, a little history of Bagni di Luca. Bagni di Luca is a rather forgotten corner of Tuscany, perhaps a little decadent, which I think gives it its very special charm and keeps this extraordinary area of natural beauty with such a rich history a hidden gem from the main tourist stream. Scattered through the whole area are elegant 19th century villas with the remains of their wonderful Italianate gardens, left from the days when Bagni di Lucca, which is extraordinary, was the top tourist destination in Europe. Because people came here to escape the summer heat from the cities of Lucca and Florence particularly, and also take the curative waters. We have 25 different natural waters here which treat various ailments. And it was Elisas Villa who turned this spa town into such an elegant place, though its history goes back much, much further. Elisas Villa, of course, was Napoleon's sister and the ruler of this area. And she created Bagni di Luca as a spa garden with paths that connected each of these thermal establishments. What a modern idea was that. And unfortunately, the main spa at the moment has been closed since COVID, but Bernabò, which is in Ponte-Serraglio, where we're starting our tour today, is open. And you can lie in one of the marble baths that Elisa had built for her and enjoy the curative waters. Also in this part of town is the oldest casino in Europe. Now, we did a video on the Bernabò and we will be doing one on the casino, so we'll take you inside. I'm afraid very often it's closed. You can't always go in. We start here. We're suggesting that you get off the bus or park your car here or get out of the taxi here, and from here you walk into the main town. And the reason we say don't walk from the station is because the station to here is actually quite a long walk and there's no footpath, so it's a little bit dangerous. There are of course many other things, but this is just an introductory tour to this little bit of forgotten heaven. So if you're walking from Ponte-Serraglio rather than driving, it's worth cutting through the supermarket Conad on your right, just after the tennis club area, and going down, and you can do a bit along the river, which is called the Elizabeth Barrett Brownie Walk. So you walk through the car park and you join the path. We've taken a beautiful video of this in winter, I think it was, and now everything's overgrown, so you can't actually see the river, but you can hear it. It's a pity that nobody's cleared it up, but there are rather nice lamps. Anyway, you keep walking.
If you enjoy our videos, please subscribe, leave a like and activate the notification bell. Thank you very much.
And you can see there's a suspension bridge that is actually based on the Williams Bridge in New York and Hammersmith Bridge in London. So rather than continuing along the path, when you reach the bridge and the plaque to Elizabeth Barrett and Robert Browning, you go up the stairs and you come out into the main piazza of Bagni di Luca. it's worth having a little walk on the bridge and looking at the river. So you walk up into the main piazza area of Bagni di Luca and you're by the Teatro Accademico where Puccini played as a young man, and it looks like they're setting up for a concert tonight. Behind the fountain of acting is Circolo dei Forestieri, and this is a really good lunch spot. It has a sort of time walk elegance, and the food and Stefano cooks is outstanding. Sadly it's not lunchtime, but I'll see if I can show you the room. Oh, dear. Salve, buonasera. So the room's all empty at the moment. Lunch is finished and they're cooking in there for dinner. But you can see it's just a kind of wonderful time walk, beautiful Murano glass chandeliers. And it looks like it's a very expensive restaurant, but it's incredibly good value. And it isn't very expensive. So it's right on the river, but I've actually never been out on this terrace before. Have you?
Maybe many years ago, I think I did.
Anyway, you get a good view of the bridge from here, but it's not generally open. And in fact, it was the first restaurant we ate in when we came to Bagni di Luca, before we'd even bought the house. So this is where we had our first meal all those years ago, sitting underneath this beautiful portico under the stars. It was quite magical. I should also mention that Circolo dei Forestieri was also the foreigners club, and there was a lot of betting going on here as well. There was quite a lot of betting going on in this area, really. Anyway, but it is a very elegant building. So now we're going to walk up to the English church. So as you see, the connections with Britain go high, as there's a crest of the royal family, which I think is the Queen Mother's, but I could be wrong. I can't remember. I have to ask Massimo, who's the chemist and who family have been here for generations. Walk up the little lane between the chemist and the restaurant Del Sono. There's a ceramic in the style of Della Robbia. I don't know if it's an original, but it's a very famous type of Tuscan ceramic.
Andava a comprare le sigarette per i fratelli, gli scollava il pacchetto e le fregava.
So now, as you come up the path, you'll see a rather beautiful large building, and this, we've come around the other side to the main entrance, is actually the Anglican Church in Bagni di Luca. Because of all these English and American people who came here, there was an Anglican, a Protestant church, It's now a library and it's being restored, but unfortunately it's closed at the moment because it's being restored. Opposite the church is a little pathway that winds up the hill. When you get up the top of the hill, well actually it's not the top, the first piazza, you're met by this very elegant villa, which is where Elisa built this villa for when she came to Bagni di Luca. Before it was built, she stayed down in the town.
In where is now the Hotel Roma?
Well, was the hotel room.
Was the Hotel Roma, it's longer. Yeah.
And as you can see, it's a beautiful villa with wonderful gates.
I've been told that it's now divided into flats.
It is.
So the flats. So I'm going to show you. I'll put this thing to the gate so I can see it better. So you're going up again now?
Up again, on the cobbles.
We had done part of this in a previous video on the Via dell'Amore.
And we're going to do this area in more detail because actually it's an area that's really full of history.
Yes.
So we're just going to give you a quick look around now. So we're now in Piazza di Bini, and this piazza, as you can see, it has the stabilimento termale Bagno alla Villa, and again it's actually being restored at the moment, but we did take some video of the inside, so we'll put the link below to that. Now this is,
I love this piazza.
I love this piazza as well. And as you can see, even though there are elegant villas, there aren't really gates. And the reason was, the idea was that the tourists, if you like,
The visitors.
and the locals mixed together. And there were dancers in this piazza. So Montaigne stayed here, and Evangelina Whipple, who was an American, lived here with Rose Cleveland, who was actually the sister of the President of America. And they were very active women and really entered into the community and were here during the war and did a lot of war work in the First World War, and also helped out during the Spanish flu.
Now let's have a look at this. Is the house where Michel de Montaigne stayed in 1581.
And apparently it cured his kidney stones. But before we go on here, let's go up. And this is Villa Bonvisi, also known as Villa Webb, and it's where Byron stayed. And if you look down here, from here, you have this lovely view, which is one of my favourite little corners of Bagni di Luca, with the little domes above the thermal bath. And there's been a writers' conference here at the moment. We do actually have a video of inside here as well. and we'll put the link below. But we're actually going to do one on all these villas because they are so special. And inside here there is a museum of, gosh, what's it called? The Museum of...
Impossibile.
Impossibile, which is full of quite creepy things. But there are also the old gaming tables that are sometimes in the casino and sometimes here. And there is the most wonderful kitchen, a proper old-fashioned Tuscan kitchen of a large villa of the time. And it's worth coming just for the kitchen.
And also they keep all the equipment for historical.
Oh, they keep all, yeah, they do. They keep all the archery equipment here.
Uniforms as well, quite a lot of stuff there.
Costumes for medieval fairs and so on. So it's quite interesting, and it's curated by a local historian.
It's a wonderful person, Virgilio.
Who knows everything. When I forget things. Virgilio, help! I can't remember. And you can just see over there Villa Adda. And Villa Adda, sadly, is in desperate need of repair. But it is the most beautiful villa, and I just hope somebody saves it. It's got these wonderful turrets, and it had the most beautiful garden that you could still see the shape of when we arrived in Bagni di Luca over 20 years ago. We're outside Villa Mansi now, and Villa Mansi is a very important villa in Bagni di Luca. It hosted many important guests, including Josephina, who was Napoleon's first wife, and Paolina, his sister. And it was here that Paolina is supposed to have heard of the death of her 7-year-old son. Also, it was here that Paolina heard of the defeat of her brother Napoleon at the Battle of Waterloo. And that ended the Bonaparte, Elisa Villa, another sister of Napoleon's, rule in the area. And everything changed. Just above me on the left, you can see the yellow villa, and the yellow villa is Villa Adda. And Villa Adda is architecturally, I think, very interesting with its turrets. Badly in need of restoration, I'm afraid, but there are the bones of a beautiful garden outside. So I hope it will be restored before too long. We're going to walk down the road this time rather than the path, and we're going to walk past the Scuderia, which is the stables. And they're the stables of Villa Adda. And in the grounds of Villa Adda is the, what do you mean, the swimming pool. The council swimming pool, the comune swimming pool, I don't know what you call it.
The local swimming pool.
The public swimming pool.
Public swimming pool.
You can see the horses above the door. They're actually flats now.
And that is the entrance to the public pool.
This is a rather ugly building, but I'm very affectionate towards it because it's where our daughter went to junior school. So we're back down again, and we're in the public gardens, and there's this rather sort of 19th century water tile folly. Cool.
Is it cold?
Certainly not thermal water. So we're going to end our tour here, and I want to say that we've just done the main bit of Bagni di Luca. We've done a very basic tour. There are lots of interesting details and places to see, But also, if you have a car, do go up into the villages, because Bagni di Luca is made up of lots of hill villages, and this is just the main part in the valley that straddles along the Lima, which then goes into the Cerchio. I urge you to go up into the villages around. There are incredible churches with amazing art and great restaurants as well to discover. I hope you enjoyed this introduction. Have any of you been to Bagni di Luca? If so, tell us about your visit there. I think it's sad there isn't a better communication between Lucca and Bagni di Luca. It does make it slightly difficult for public transport. So we'll definitely leave the link below for taxis from the station. If you get the bus actually goes directly to Ponte Serraglio, so you can just get off there. And then you can get it back here. But there aren't that many in a day. But actually enough to do a nice day, because I think there's one that arrives in the morning, and then you can get one back in the evening. Slightly depends on the time of the year, so it's worth checking. It makes for a cooler day than Lucca, and I think that here we found a very nice life, and it's a little treasure, really. So please leave a comment, and can we ask you, and I'm going to ask you again, please do subscribe to the channel. It means a great deal to us. All these videos are actually a huge amount of work. They take a huge amount of time, and an awful lot of our viewers don't subscribe, and it would really, really help us if you did. So please do, and thank you everybody who does subscribe, and I hope you enjoy our videos. So, ciao a tutti, and ci vediamo alla prossima.
Thank you for watching. If you enjoy our videos, please subscribe, leave a like and activate the notification bell. You just need a Google account and it's free. It helps our community enormously. Thank you very much.